The producers of this radio show would like to express that they in no manner wish to support or condone the words and phrases, such as, ass, booty, yo bitch, the mayor is a dickhead, and big butt women in tiny bikinis, which are used in this radio show. However, in an effort to maintain accuracy and journalistic integrity, words and phrases such as, ass, booty, yo bitch, the mayor is a dickhead, and big butt women in tiny bikinis are necessary. But rest assured, these words and phrases, such as ass, booty, bitch, the mayor is a dickhead, and big butt women in tiny bikinis, will not be used without warrant, or in any gratuitous manner. The producers would also like you to know that all characters and events in this show, even those based on real people, are entirely fictional. All celebrity voices are impersonated poorly. The following program contains coarse language and mature themes, and due to its content it should not be listened to by anyone. Listener discretion is advised.
Perfect! Hi, this is the Ops radio show on Co-op Radio, 100.5 CFRO on your FM dial. We'd like to give a land acknowledgement of the Coast Salish Nations. Haichka Siam, Haichka.
Overdose Prevention Society. A place where you can overdose safely. If you're overdosing, lying panicked on the floor, don't worry, some of us have also overdosed before. Take a big deep breath. The ambulance is on its way. No need to panic just cause you can't breathe. We got Narcan kits and they're handing them out for free. OD, OD, OD. Overdose Prevention Society.
You may put out a cigarette at one and notice the other for his charm and good looks. This is Smokey, Devil, and Ashtray, downtown Eastside news and events.
Hello. And we're here, we're live. It's me and Smokey, and we're going to interview a special guest today.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Darcy Knape, and born in Victoria. I've lived in BC all my life, except when I lived in Australia and England. Went to school there for a year at a time on each place, and been, I guess you could say, a burglar for the last 45 years or so.
You good one at that.
So, if you don't know who Darcy is, Darcy, you can search his name on Google. He is known as BC's most prolific cat burglar.
Yeah, and
Skylight what?
Burglar.
Skylight Burglar. He was the Skylight Burglar.
Yeah.
And now I know that might be like a little bit of a hot topic for the radio, but I wouldn't interview someone that I didn't find fascinating or that I thought was not worthy of interviewing. The reason we're interviewing Darcy here is because he is my personal friend, and I think he's one of the nicest, kindest, gentlest people that you could ever meet.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
My own girlfriend's the nicest person you'll ever meet too. When she's asleep.
When she's asleep. If you look up Darcy on Google, it says some not so nice things about him, but there's also some good things in there. There was a national, that's the one thing we have in common, you and me, Darcy, is that there's both extensive articles about us on the web and that were in print at one point. So in 2017, there was a National Post article about your life.
A part of it, yeah, that's true, yes. Yeah. It was, you could say it was detrimental or not, but, there was inaccuracies as there is in all, reporting, but it was to do with, I believe, I was one of Canada's first people that was arrested a decade committed via DNA.
Yeah.
I drug hats and gloves and specks of blood and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, quite frequently with break and enters situations, the person that's doing it will cut their hand or scrape themselves up. I know that myself, I have an extensive criminal history, and I remember the first time they took DNA from me for a B&E, which was quite shocking. And I was like, "What? Why are you taking my DNA?" And then the sheriff's department had to explain that quite frequently when B&Es happen, the perpetrator gets cut.
But when you get your DNA, always make sure you state from the past and present. That's what you say before you give it to them.
What do you mean?
That means like they're taking your DNA for now, like, you know what I mean? From now until whenever in the future. Or for the past, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
The laws are really in their infancy here too, in regard to DNA.
Yeah.
Because there's not big books about cases of DNA, and so there's a lot of gray areas. And basically, you need a good lawyer if you have a DNA case, and the Crown can do basically whatever they want with it. I mean, of course, it's irrefutable evidence unless. Some people could drop objects at a crime scene that had your DNA, so that's why you need a really good lawyer.
Yeah, for sure.
Setups.
This is the Morgan Davis Minute with your host, Morgan Davis.
Okay. All right, I'm here with the Willy Wonka of harm reduction, Eris Nyx. Hello, how are you doing?
Great. We're great. It's great.
Good. So once again, you're my interview subject. We are going to talk about the event that is happening on August 31st. Please let all the beautiful listeners know what's going on.
So DULF is going to be giving drugs away across the province via all the drug user groups in the Provincial Drug User Group Network. Each drug user group will receive 1 gram of drugs to give away to their membership of cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. And Vandu's going to be giving away drugs too, 14 grams. We haven't decided the sign-up system, but if you're curious, if you want to get your hands on some of DULF's sweet, safe supply, what do you call it? Everlasting gobstoppers. Please sign up at Vandu. Go find Vandu. Hunt down. There's this person named Vince, and he works at Vandu. Find Vince, and leave him voicemails every day of his life. Shout out to Vince from Vandu.
Sorry, Vince, if you're listening.
It's on August 31st. I don't know if I said that.
I said that. So I feel as though last time there was maybe a little bit of confusion over who could access the free drugs. How are we going to fix that issue this time around?
There's always going to be confusion over who can access the free drugs. We were very transparent. We were like, we are giving the drugs to the drug user groups in protest of the Vancouver model of decriminalization. I admit there's probably some accessibility issues with having text-oriented information going out there, but it's not like we can call every drug user in the province that's asking. Our email, if you open our email any given day, there's 50 to 60, I'm being hyperbolic of course, but just people being like, how do I get clean, safe drugs? I'm addicted to drugs. Where do I get these goddamn drugs? And, if we could help every person, we would truly be like Willy Wonka, who, if you know the story of Willy Wonka, did indeed help every person in town and around. I think my point is, I'm like, I don't know, man, go to Vandu and sign up on the list and get the drugs. That's what you do this time.
Okay, so
I don't know how much more clear we can be, and if you don't get any and you come to us 5 hours later and you're like, oh man, I missed the thing, I'm like, man, sorry, modernity functions on a clock. It's very oppressive, I agree. It's like pizza slices. Some people prefer calzones, like a pizza folded in half. What about a clock folded in half?
So I'm going to edit this part out, me humming and hawing. What else would you like to describe about the event?
Well, I mean, I think a key point is that Moms Stop the Harm, who are mothers whose children have passed away from overdoses, although they might not be drug users themselves, will be participating side by side with the Provincial Drug User Network, meaning that are we to get arrested for doing this, they'll have to also arrest all these middle class, well-to-do people who
are in mourning.
Yeah, the optics of them arresting us are just real atrocious. So, in the Foucauldian realm of what is seen and what is hidden, I think we're winning the fight there. Although I do think we may have pissed off the police substantively.
Yeah, they were not impressed with everyone standing out in front of the police station last time. It was a safety hazard.
They told us we were blocking an emergency entrance or exit to the police. They were like, no, if you're blocking the police station, no police cars can get in or out. That's against the law. And we were like, you were waiting for us. You knew we were coming. Why would you not tell us we're protesting outside the police station? I guess we could have moved on to the sidewalk. That would have been courteous to the police. So let's be nice to the police. Let's be nice to the police day. Give a cop, something nice, like ketamine. I love being involuntarily dosed with ketamine, so make sure you do something nice for a cop today. Like what I feel. What is that thing they say? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you? Involuntarily dose people, and I'm not saying who, with ketamine. Day. I mean, we're not doing that, but it's an idea for someone.
Yeah, we do not support that.
Well, I don't think I was very clear on what I was saying. We do not support doing unto others as what you would have them do unto us. Is that what you're saying? Anyway, free drugs, August 31st. There's going to be a live stream from Redgate. Also, concurrently throughout the day is Drugs the Telethon. And if you're the Drugs the Telethon guy and you're listening to this, expect a phone call from me. I know I haven't texted you back in like a month and a half, and you sent me... we're busy people.
Can you explain the telethon a little bit more?
No.
Okay.
I can't. You don't do drugs on the telethon. He's interviewing all different harm reduction groups. But at Pee Pants and Pee Pants Industries, man, that's such a good title for my business. Business note. Call the business Pee Pants and Pee Pants Industries. We're a little busy right now. So if we're not getting back to you, it is definitely our fault. It's us, not you. That's a tagline. Pee Pants and Pee Pants Industries is us, not you. Why is my package covered in urine? Oh, it's us, not you.
God. So can you explain the Redgate?
Well, initially my plan was to debate the chief of police, and everyone was like, you're platforming fascists. And I didn't care so much about that as we pissed off the police and the entire political right in Vancouver, and there's no way they're going to talk to us because they know I'm going to make fun of them.
They absolutely would not talk to you.
Well, yeah, and I was planning like at the end to do some like comedy gaslighting, like some Eric Andre thing, and be like, and everyone got free heroin, and hit a button and like rigs attached to streamers would drop from the ceiling. I'm sure the people like Melissa DeGenova and the chief of police have like some kind of entourage that would check for uncapped rigs hanging from the ceiling on string triggered by a button. It was a little much. The planning for it was a little much. So I think we're really going to have a celebration of life. Bands from the downtown Eastside will play. I'm going to try and get Prado to come back out.
Prado rocks my ass.
Yeah. Smokey gave her the shout out in the last episode too.
Cool. And so, yeah, that's going to be artists featured on the
100 Block Rock 2 compilation, which this episode, we never brought it up, which is unfortunate, but it's a compilation of downtown Eastside musicians. If you are hearing this and it is Monday, August the...
It's not August, it's July.
Shut up. If it is August the 2nd when this airs, then, and you're hearing this, send a demo immediately to DTES Record, that is DTESrecord@gmail.com, and you'll still be considered for submission. Say you entered the radio sweepstake. In fact, if you are listening to this and enter your demo, to one lucky person that enters the radio sweepstakes, we will just put you on the record at random. So how's that sound, Vancouver? Cue radio sweepstakes music.
else you'd like to add about the event on August 31st?
Not really.
Personally inviting Melissa Digiviva.
Melissa Digiviva is invited. Everyone's invited. You know, DULF, we're really, truly a Republican organization, and we believe that all stratas of society should have free, clean drugs. I mean, we don't believe this. Personally, I think you should do unto others as they have done unto you. I mean, the other way. Have done unto you. Historically. Like, do unto them as they've treated you. That's what Jesus said, right?
I don't even remember where we started in this disaster of a conversation.
Well, that's 10 minutes of content. I mean, we can cut it. That's all I needed.
Alright, so once again, just to remind everyone, on August 31st, you may get your point of free drugs, hit up Vandu, sign up, and
give us your money if you're rich. DULF.ca.
Also give us your money.
DULF.ca.
For the donor sustainer program, if you
for the boner program
have any extra cash sitting around, DULF would love to use it.
Yeah, that's true. Sick.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Good night, Wisconsin. We'll see you next week for the Eris Nyx birthday. I mean, next week. We'll see you for my birthday.
Yep. Eris is turning 30 on the 20th of August, so everyone mark that in your calendars as well. All right, good night, everyone.
I'm gonna get so drunk. And now back to downtown Eastside. Damn it. And now back to downtown Eastside news and events.
I guess we're obviously not going to talk about any crimes that we've all committed here, because not any one of us in this room is an angel.
No implications of anything.
We're not going to implicate ourselves in anything, but what we will say is that we've all made positive choices in the recent like last couple of years. Like one of the reasons I ended up meeting Darcy was because of a little place we all have in common, and that's Ops, and that's what this radio show is all about. It's the Ops radio show.
Yeah.
So basically what Ops is for our listeners out there is at Ops we employ people within the downtown Eastside.
Yeah.
And give them safe opportunities to earn income without having to commit crimes, which is a really good thing for a lot of people, and especially for my friend Darcy.
Very good thing.
And like if you read about Darcy's well-publicated criminal history, on especially in that National Post article, like you can tell that like Darcy, correct me if I'm wrong, you never did any of those crimes out of personal spite towards any one of those people.
Absolutely not.
It was only for dope money, right?
Yeah, I even wrote an apology letter.
Yeah.
But that said to the victims, and I said, I'm sorry that it was nothing personal, but it was the actions of a drug-addled, junkie at the time, and some people have tried to put a negative spin on that and say, look, he was just trying to, fool people and that, but I really hated doing crimes to support a drug habit, but it's such a insidious thing, heroin and fentanyl now,
Yeah, the big thing is also with you is that you're reading commercial meetings, not residential, right?
Yeah.
Residential is like someone trying to bring up your family, blah, 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 blah. Commercial meetings is a big company where they can insure that money anyways. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't see why they're...
Well, like in the article about our friend Darcy here, there was a lot of victim impact statements that a lot of the people who had their homes broken into had like severe PSD reactions. They didn't feel safe anymore.
Oh yeah.
Things like that, which is like I can understand how people would feel like that if that happened. I've had my house broken into a lot, living in different various places, especially when I lived in Coquitlam for a period. My fucking apartment was broken into like daily by the neighborhood hood rats. And yeah, you can't feel violated from like a homeowner perspective.
Well, sure, it's home invasion nowadays.
But like, you know, the reason like I have Darcy here on the show today is because I truly believe that if Darcy had the alternative of gainful employment while he was using, he would have chosen that over.
Well, yeah, and the thing was,
over doing the B&Es. Would you say that's true, Darcy?
Yeah, I would, and you know, I've had you know, some good jobs over the years when I was younger. You know, I'm a tireless worker, and you know, I give my all to anything that I do. And you know, going back to you know, the burglaries and people feeling violated, man, I get that so much, and I apologize to everybody that's ever been you know, affected by my actions, and that's why, you know, I didn't just write one apology letter. Over the years, you know, I've written a few, and it wasn't to get reduced sentences or anything. It's because I get it. I know that, you know, and I didn't have any alternatives. You know, I didn't get the good life lessons I should have got growing up, and you know, obviously that's, you know, I would say to anybody, you know, any kids, you know, you have to make sure from you know, birth to 10 years old, that is when the formative years are, and you need to get the lessons across. Yes.
Some of the, they need it for big time. Yeah, need it for diamonds and stuff like that. You know, like, whatever. Right? It's not saying where it went, but
yeah.
And the thing is, you're professional at it. Right? That's your MO. Is you're professional at it. You know.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I get that too. But I mean, a lot of these big businesses and stuff that you got, they did the safes and stuff like that. They get insured anyways, man.
Yeah,
it's not like
you're
putting a gun to someone's head. There's a big difference between armed robberies and B&Es, right? You know?
Yeah.
But I can understand these people if they're, but that's the thing, if you do like inside jobs are the best. You know what I mean? When I used to do it, they were the bomb.
That's why I was under the radar for so long, because you know, it wasn't so much about the victims in Vancouver. I remember Kim Rossmo profiled the Skylight burglar some years ago.
Profiled by the same profiler that profiled
some years ago. Yeah.
What's his nuts?
No, he works for the U.S. government.
No, the dude that profiled the serial killer. Helten. Yeah.
But it was about the insurance because so much money was going. And you know, I'm not talking about, you know, people that live in Coquitlam and, you know, like working people.
No, I know.
You know, I targeted, unfortunately, you know, mansions and people that had a lot of money because, you know. So anyway, I guess it, you know, got to the point where they were paying out too much. That's when I came on the radar, and you know. So that's my point, is that
that's when they started watching them.
It's about money. Unfortunately, the whole planet is these days. It's, I mean, you can buy your security with money in the form of a house and a good life. It's all about money, and for a junkie or an addict on the street, their security is their drugs and, you know, their meager possessions, and that's why, you know, these crimes occur, petty crimes and whatnot.
Think about how much cash we get up.
Well, like, despite all that, I think, like, the positive spin here, or the solution to this, is like, for my history, when I was using street opiates, when I was wired, I was unemployable. And if I had the opportunity for gainful employment while I was using the kind of place that, like, ops provides opportunities for people, back then, I wouldn't have been in jail as much as I was. Like, for sure, 100%. I wish when I was using.
It's a different vibe these days, man.
Yeah, that there was opportunities for drug users.
I'd like to add to that. You know, Trey referred to me as his friend, and I am his friend. He is one, you know, very few people that, you know, kudos are due him. anybody that can go from that to what he does now is it's amazing. There's not very many people on this planet that can do that and be around it day after day.
I mean, he's just dope and be around it. Yeah.
He's a fantastic person, and he's my friend, and I am grateful for that. Same with Smokey, you know.
He's my lifeline.
Yeah. He's a great artist, and you know, I consider him my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, and you know what? The funny, I just want to say, I gotta say it before I forget, because I got short-term memory. But we are doing this interview in the old police station at 312 Main Street. That's funny. Is that where this interview is currently being recorded in a former police station.
I was almost killed in the police station upstairs, the old jail.
Yeah, and then they take the elevator.
I bet you got some good stories.
7 fractured ribs, collapsed lung. You couldn't recognize me. My face was black.
Yeah.
And I still have the screws of the titanium in my jaw.
So, I mean, that's another thing, like, the life that you've lived, Darcy, is really like a transferable skill. In terms of, like, I've been trying to pawn Darcy off to some of my friends who are Hollywood producers and be like, yo, if you got a Burglar movie, I got your creative consultant. I got the best creative consultant you could ever want. Darcy. I'm just putting it out there in the radio land. If you guys need a creative consultant for a heist movie, contact Ops Radio, and we'll hook you up with Darcy.
Well, there aren't too many safes or, establishments that I haven't done or been in. And, I'm not blowing my own horn or anything, but, it was just something I was good at, as well as, out of necessity.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but, I enjoyed being good at something.
Yeah.
So.
And you have written a book about your life.
I've written 2, once when I was 22 and just recently, it was 2017, but, it's not about books anymore, it's blogs and internet and that, and I didn't, number 1, contact anybody about it, and number 2, it's all in my memory banks anyways, so I just did it to see if I could.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, there is, like, a market out there for that kind of knowledge and that kind of lifestyle. Like, what comes to mind right away is Eddie Bunker. Eddie Bunker he played, who was he in Reservoir Dogs? He was Mr. Blue in Reservoir Dogs, but he's also he's a very established author. He's written several books about his time as an armed robber.
You stopwatch guys?
That's Stephen Reed.
No, in the movie Reservoir Dogs, he plays, he has a small part, he gets killed quickly. He was also the creative consultant on the film Heat.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good film.
Yeah, he was, because he spent his life, more than half his life was spent in prison as an armed robber. He was an armed robber. That's what he did. And all that is like a transferable skill. And Darcy, thanks for talking to us on this radio show, man, and opening up about your life. I want to see good things for you, right? And I'd like to see the things that have happened to you at least be turned around into some positive.
I'd like to give back in any way that I can, and like I say, I've spent my entire life basically, drugged up, for various reasons. People can figure out why people use drugs, maybe something happened in the past, whatever. But, now I would like to, just be whatever small part of society I can, and to give back anything that I can, and I like to be doing that, and I like to work,
Yeah.
I see, I have 2 words for you. Not guilty.
Not guilty. All right, well, thank you very much for talking to us, Darcy, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
and I farted production. Hee hee.